Next time, baby. That's the last thing Terrence Howard said as James Rhodey Rhodes in Iron Man 2008. The perfect setup for a sequel. The promise of War Machine and then Iron Man 2 came out. And sitting in that armor was Don Cheadle. For years, Marvel's PR machine called it a salary dispute, boring, corporate, just business, but Terrence Howard just revealed what really happened. And it wasn't boring at all. It was a bare-knuckle power struggle that got so hostile, Howard threatened to punch a Hollywood producer's teeth out. And 8 months later, he was fired from the biggest franchise in movie history. This wasn't a negotiation gone wrong. This was an execution. And it set the blueprint for how Hollywood treats actors in the franchise era. Here's what people forget. In 2008, Terrence Howard was the star of Iron Man, not Robert Downey Jr. Downey was considered a liability, a former addict, box office poison. The studio was nervous about him, so they paid Terrence Howard more. He was the highest paid actor on that set. He had a multi-picture deal worth millions, and then the movie made over $585 million worldwide. Suddenly, Marvel had a problem. Because if they honored Howard's contract for the sequels, he'd have all the leverage. He'd be making more than Robert Downey Jr., the guy who was now the face of the entire franchise. Marvel looked at that contract and realized, if we pay him what we promised, the actors will think they have power, so they made a choice. They weren't going to renegotiate. They were going to send a message. Howard says it started at the 2007 Venice Film Festival. He was promoting The Brave One with Jodie Foster, and producer Joel Silver, who's married to Susan Downey, Robert Downey Jr.'s wife, and a producer on The Brave One, confronted him about his attitude. Howard says Silver told him he wasn't the star, that if he got nominated for an Oscar, it would be for supporting actor, not best actor, and Howard's response: "If you ever talk to me in that way again, I'm going to knock your teeth out of your mouth." 8 months later, he was fired from Iron Man 2. Now, Marvel will tell you it was about money. That Howard wanted too much. That director Jon Favreau wanted to cut his role down, but Howard sees it differently. He believes that moment of defiance, that refusal to bow down, marked him as someone who wouldn't be controlled, and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you have to be controllable. Because here's what firing Terrence Howard really did. It proved that actors are disposable. Marvel dropped Don Cheadle into the War Machine armor, and the audience barely blinked. The franchise kept rolling. The box office kept growing, and every other actor in the MCU got the message: you are not irreplaceable. The character is the star. The IP is the star. You're just the face we're renting for now. If you demand too much money, we'll recast you. If you push back against the executives, we'll write you out. If you threaten to punch a producer, we'll make sure you never work in this universe again. Terrence Howard became the first casualty of the modern franchise machine. The sacrificial lamb that taught every actor in Hollywood a brutal lesson: shut up, take what they give you, and be grateful you're in the suit. Denzel Washington told Howard later, "You keep your fists all balled up. Producers are trying to open your hand so they can put money in it, but you won't do it, and you're blowing it." Howard admits now that his aggression and his need to be a man cost him the role. Maybe cost him other roles too, but here's the question: should an actor have to uncurl their fists just to survive in Hollywood? Should standing up for yourself mean you get erased from a billion-dollar franchise? The Terrence Howard firing wasn't a mistake. It was the foundational blueprint for the entire modern IP era that established the ultimate rule. In the cinematic universe, the studio is God, and even the highest-paid stars are completely expendable. Terrence Howard learned that the hard way, and every actor who came after him has been living in that shadow ever since.